What's happening, all my 2CCX people? I am hoping you guys, I don't know why I have these sunglasses on, I guess, because I'm going to be out in the sun a little bit later on. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys in Phoenix. I am so jacked about what I'm going to be teaching there and about what I'm going to be learning there. I've been in Russell's Inner Circle now for 4 years. And I remember going to the first 2CCX meeting live event that I went to last year, and it was awesome. And I didn't know what to expect. And really, last year when I went to the first 2CCX event that I went to, and I think it was the first one they had. I only missed one last year because I had an event that same day. I knew that was going to happen. My wife just got home and the garage door is opening. But you guys probably can't even hear it. I don't know why I have these in. I'm falling apart here. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. If you can hear me okay, just type "I can hear you okay," and I'll leave these in because it's probably picking up the audio from there better than it would be from wherever. Anyway, so I wanted to share with you guys one of the most valuable lessons I've ever learned in business, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you as it's been helpful to me, and hopefully it'll help you take your life to the next level. And it happened for me. This was a turning point in my life. It was a turning point in my business back then, but it was a turning point in my life that I didn't recognize as a turning point in my life. Can you guys hear me okay? I can hear you okay. Perfect. Okay, good. That's all I needed to know. And so it was a turning point in my life. And so just to give you a little bit of a backstory, I had been doing, I signed up for a network marketing company in September of 1995. It wasn't my first network marketing company, but it was one of the last ones, right? And so I signed up for this network marketing company, and I joined on September 10th, 1995. There was another couple that joined that same day that I did. George and Judy, I remember like it was yesterday, and we became really good friends. And a year later, by September of 1996, George and Judy were making $10,000 a month. And to me, back then, $10,000 a month was a lot of money. Even for active income, that was a lot of money. Now, $10,000 a month, even for passive income, to me doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But back then, it seemed like a really big deal. And maybe some of you are there now in your life where, if you had $10,000 a month, it would like solve everything for you, right, in your mind. And so, a year later, they're making $10,000 a month. I'm barely making $1,000 a month. And I was good. I was good at recruiting, and I was good at selling the products. But what I wasn't good at is I wasn't good at building a team. Now, I didn't realize that wasn't what I was good at then. I just knew that something was different from their business and mine. We started on the same day. They're making 10 times more money than I am. What's the difference? So, I'll tell you what the difference is in a minute. So, the company had this event coming up called Leadership School, and it was in February of 1997, coming up in February of 1997, and I was a little discouraged because there were people who joined the same time I did, were making a lot more money than me, not just George and Judy, but other people too, and I'm like, I'm working, other people love to bring people when I'm doing the presentation, and they're enrolling people, their businesses are growing, my business wasn't growing. And I didn't even realize that the reason my business wasn't growing was me, right? I'll tell you what I mean. I'll get to that in a minute. And so we had this event coming up. I lived in Pennsylvania. The event, this leadership school that they were having, was coming up in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I didn't have enough money for a plane ticket. Hey guys, in 1997, I was broke, right? And so February 1997, and I said, okay, so I'm gonna drive to Florida to go to this event. Here's the reality. Tickets were $150 for this event. I did not have enough money to buy a ticket. Didn't have it. I didn't have enough money to buy a ticket. I didn't have enough money for a plane ticket. I didn't have enough money for a hotel room. There was no such thing as Airbnb, so forget about that. I didn't have a car. I didn't own a car that would make it from Pennsylvania to Florida. So I borrowed my dad's van. My dad let me borrow his van. He had one of those tricked out vans, you know, with a seat in the back that turned into a bed and all that. So I borrowed my dad's van, and it had a little ice box in the back so I could keep some snacks and stuff. I had enough money to get to Florida, to Fort Lauderdale. Did not have enough money for a ticket. I did not have enough money I did not have enough money for a plane ticket. Did not have enough money for a ticket for the event. Didn't have enough money for a hotel room. Had enough money, didn't have a car that would make it. I had enough money to get to Florida, to the event. I didn't even have enough money to get back home. And I know this sounds like we walked 3 miles in the snow to go to school when I was a kid, but I'm telling you, this is now my story. This was then my life. And I remember saying to my wife, babe, I believe this opportunity is real. I had a good friend. His name was Ben. Ben was making $60,000 a month in this opportunity. He started a year before we did. And I told my wife, I said, look, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go to this event because I'm afraid if I don't go to this event, we're not going to be around in a year. And other people are going to be making these fortunes, and we're going to still be stuck like Chuck in a pickup truck, right? We're still going to be right where we are. So I drove to this event. Now, it was a binary network marketing opportunity. You don't need to know what that means, except we had 2 teams, right? So you had a team on the left and a team on the right. So I don't remember which team it was. I think it was my right team. I had recruited this guy who, like, they were doing so much volume. And if you got to $5,000 in volume on the week, $5,000 in volume on the right every week and $5,000 in volume to the left every week, you'd be making $2,100 a week, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So we had $5,000 in volume every week that happened on the right side, and $5,000 maybe every month and a half that would happen on the left side. So I went to this event, and I'm sitting in this event. Well, I got to the event. How did I get in? Well, I didn't have enough money to get a ticket. So the guy who was on my team, on my right side, who was producing all this volume, he was also a good friend of mine. When I got there, I told him I don't have a ticket. So he bought a ticket from somebody else so that I could get into the event. So now I'm in the event, right? I don't have a hotel room. I slept in my van the entire time I was there, right? And the reason I slept in my van, because I didn't have enough money for a hotel room. What do? I sleep in the van. But it's Florida. You know the stories, you've heard the stories about people falling asleep in vehicles and they're asphyxiating, usually when it's in the garage, but this is outside. But I didn't want to take any chances. So I'm not leaving the car running while I'm sleeping, but it's Florida. And even in February, at nighttime, it was hot, right? And it was South Florida. So I'm like, okay, I can't keep the car running, but you know, I got to do something to try to cool off. So I put the windows down, and like all the mosquitoes in the state of Florida thought I was inviting them over for midnight snack, right? So literally, I had mosquito bites all over the place. I went to the event the next day. I looked like I had the measles, right? I had all these mosquito bites. And so I'm at this event. I go to the event, and while I'm there, I'm listening to this speaker, JR. He's giving his presentation, and he did this presentation called The Dash. He said, in your life, he said, you've got your birthday. For me, mine is 5/14/61. He said, you've got your death date, whatever that is. He said, those are 2 dates you have no control over. You have no control. Right? No control. And when you die, you're going to have a tombstone. It's going to have your death date. You're going to have your birth date. In the middle, it's going to be a dash. The only thing you have control over is what are you going to do with a dash? And I said, I am going to control my dash. I'm going to do something significant with this. I can't make this a significant day. I was born on Mother's Day. That made it significant. It is my birthday. I like to think that's significant. One of these days I'm going to die. Hopefully somebody will think that's significant. But this is what I've got control over. This is what I can do something about. I can do something about the dash in the middle. And he did this presentation on what are you going to do with the dash. And I'm sitting there literally thinking about all of the hardship that I had to go through to get to this event. And I realized I had 5 people from my right team, the team that was doing $5,000 a week in volume. I had all this volume coming up from my right side. And my left side, a lot of those people lived in West Virginia, and I would drive 4 hours to do an opportunity meeting for them and for their team and for their prospects. And after I drove 4 hours, not before this event, I mean, not after this event, but before this event, I would drive 4 hours to do an event for these people. And not only would they not bring any guests, they wouldn't even show up. I'm like, what is this? And I'm down here in Florida, and I'm in this event, and I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute. There's nobody in my organization in West Virginia or anywhere else who's struggling as much as I'm struggling. There's nobody on my team who's as broke as I am. There's nobody on my team that's poorer than me. There's nobody on my team that's a better excuse for not being at this event than I have. But I'm here, and they're not here. And I realized, like, while I was sitting there in that event, and I was looking at these 5 people who were from the strong side of my organization, who were at this event, and some people would say, yeah, well, they were there because they were strong, so they could be there. I submit that they were there because they were strong, right? And so I realized that the problem with the people on the other side of my organization was me. That I was letting them off the hook. That I was perpetually letting them off the hook. I would go do a meeting for them, they wouldn't show up, and I'd go back and do another meeting. I'm doing all these presentations for people who don't even care enough about their own business to show up for their own business, and I'm showing up. So I care more about their business than they did. And I'm going to tell you something. When I had that realization, I called an emergency meeting for my team in West Virginia, because that's where most of my leaders were. I said, we're having an emergency meeting. This is going to be the date. Be there at the meeting when I show up to West Virginia. If you don't, lose my phone number. If you're not at that meeting, lose my phone number. Don't call me and ask me to do a presentation for you. Don't call me for a 3-way call. Don't call me for anything. If you're not going to show up for your own business, for your own life change, don't ask me to show up for your life change, right? So I got there, I had this meeting, I told them about my epiphany that I had while I was in Florida. So some of you are wondering, well, how did you get back home? Like, what did you do? So I slept in my hotel. I slept in my dad's van. I went into the hotel in the morning, I'd wash my face, in the bathroom, and then I'd go to the event. How did I get back home? A friend of mine knew a pastor that was in Fort Myers, Florida, which was about 200 miles from Fort Lauderdale. And he talked his friend in, who was also a friend of mine, but I didn't know he was a pastor there, right? Talked his friend into having me come and speak. So I went and spoke for this pastor. They took up what's known as a love offering for me. That pastor had me speak for another friend of his that night. They took up a love offering for me, and I got enough money to get back home, okay? But none of that would have happened if I wouldn't have done the thing that was difficult for me, which I could have talked myself into believing was impossible for me. I went to this event that I didn't have enough money to go to. I didn't have enough money for a ticket. I didn't have enough money for a hotel room. I didn't have enough money to get back home. But none of those were enough of a reason to stop me from showing up. And so I said, I'm going to this event. And so I went to the event, and my life changed. I went back, I had this meeting with them, and their life changed, and I started holding them accountable. And I realized that one of the worst things that you could do for people when you're coaching them is to attempt to make it easier for them. If you, like a butterfly breaking out of a cocoon after it was a caterpillar, is part of the thing that makes the wing strong enough to carry that butterfly after it breaks out. If you break that caterpillar out of the cocoon before it becomes a butterfly, before it has wings that are strong enough to break out, that caterpillar's wings will never develop into strong enough wings to make it fly. And so now it's neither a caterpillar or a butterfly. It's like a freakish hybrid of neither one, right? And so, Russell has provided .com secrets. Russell has provided expert secrets. Russell has accumulated some of the best business coaches in the world to assist you in your business. But the reality is, Russell Brunson can't make you successful. Brent Kopeters can't make you successful. Julie Stoyan can't make you successful. Steven Larson can't make you successful. Myron Golden can't make you successful. What has to happen if you're going to create success in your life, what we're going to have, the best thing that we can do for you is challenge you to take ownership of your business and be accountable to your business and do the hard things. Do the hard things that feel impossible to you in the present so that you can do the things in the future that other people can't do. And so my question for you is, what are you going to do with the Dash? I'm telling you, that event changed my life. Literally, we made more money in that opportunity in the next 3 months than we made in the entire previous year, because I held people accountable. but I only was able to hold people accountable because I did something that felt impossible to me. You know, it's interesting. I was at my Bible study this morning, and after we got done with my Bible study this morning at IHOP, me and some of the guys that were there, we just sat there and talked for a little while. And one of the guys, Bo, asked the question. He said, it's really interesting. It seems like, you know, we go through life and we believe that stuff happens to us all of a sudden. All of a sudden the car breaks down. All of a sudden this bad thing happened. All of a sudden the air conditioner goes out. All of a sudden this happens. All of a sudden that happens. He said, but you know, I was thinking about it, and I was telling my wife, this is what Bo said, I was telling my wife that, you know, good things can happen all of a sudden also. I said, that's right. That's exactly how it happens. I said, I struggled most of my life. My wife and I, we struggled most of our life. I can remember when my wife was 8 months pregnant with our first child, and our water and electricity were both disconnected at the same time. I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to drive raggedy, old, broken down cars that you have to fix every time you go to the store, right? I mean, I know what that's like. I've been there, done that. I know what it's like to be so poor that you're taking the seats out of your car and the cushions out of the couch and the chairs in your house so you can find enough change to buy a loaf of bread because you got some peanut butter and you got some jelly, but without bread you can't make no sandwich. I know what it's like to be that guy. And I told Bo, I said, for us, it happened for me, like when everything turned around for me, it turned around all of a sudden. And that was in April of 1999 when I accidentally, instantaneously, like in 1 week, I made $6,000. It wasn't a goal. I didn't have it written down. I wasn't chanting 6,000, 6,000, 6,000. I just stopped focusing on the focus of poor people, and I stopped focusing on the focus of middle class people, and I started focusing on the focus of rich people. What does that mean? Well, poor people focus on bills. And what you focus on, where attention goes, intention follows, and what you focus on expands, and poor people focus on bills. They think that the reason money exists is so they can pay bills. And so poor people go through life with this ideology, with a mindset around money, I gotta pay the bills, I gotta pay the bills. Middle class people go through life with a mindset, I've gotta have good credit, so that way I can buy things that I can't afford, and then just sign for them, and then pay them off over time. And so poor people accumulate bills, middle class people accumulate depreciating liabilities, and rich people accumulate income producing assets. And I said, I shifted my focus from those two things, and I said, I want to have more income producing assets in my life than just me. And I started focusing on income producing assets in January of 1999, and by April of 1999, I accidentally made $6,000 in 1 week. And when I made that $6,000 in 1 week, I said, wow. I said, that was amazing. I got to do it again. And then I said, as soon as possible. And then I said, I can't believe how easy it was. And I thought, well, if it was that easy to make $6,000, it was almost effortless, y'all. If it was that easy just because I spent 3 months focusing on income producing assets. And so it was that easy to make $6,000 a week. The year before I made $48,000 for the whole year. And now I made $6,000 in a week. I thought, that must mean that it's easier to make a lot of money in a short period of time than it is to make a little money over a long period of time. And I stopped looking for all the hard ways to make a little bit of money, and I started looking for the easy ways to make a lot. And guess what? Where attention flows, intention follows. So I started looking for the easier ways to make a lot, and I started finding those. And I'm telling you that the reason I'm even doing this live event is, I know that some of you are struggling with the idea of going to Phoenix because it's hard. It's hard because you don't want to be away from your family. It's hard because, and I want to say this, don't use your family as an excuse to fail. Use your family as the primary motivating factor to succeed. Anyway, so it's hard to be away from your family. You don't have the money. You have to take money out of savings. You have to take money out of retirement. I have to put it on a credit card. Whatever you have to do to be in Phoenix, do it and be there. Why? Why am I saying this to you? I'm not saying this to you because I need you to be in Phoenix. I'm going to be in Phoenix whether you're there or not. I'm saying this to you because I know how much your life can change even though you don't know it yet. So I was talking to Bo. I said, yeah. So for me, this morning in Bible study, I was talking to Bo. I said, yeah, for me, struggle was my life. We struggled for a long time. And we would like to have told ourselves that we struggled because it was a struggle, because life was a struggle, because making money was a struggle. Some of you think that building funnels is a struggle. Some of you think that doing the One Funnel Away challenge is a struggle. Some of you think 2CCX is a struggle. But here's what I discovered after I accidentally made $6,000 in a week. And then I started looking for the easy ways to make a lot. And within a couple months, I had an $8,000 day. Here's what happened after that. I came to the realization that I wasn't struggling before because it was a struggle. I was struggling before because I was a struggler. And that's what strugglers do. They struggle. Like, I learned my whole life how to struggle. And so since struggling is what I knew how to do, you've heard the saying, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, if all you are is a struggler, everything looks like a struggle. And so what I did was I stopped being a struggler. And when I stopped being a struggler, things stopped being a struggle. So people say the struggle is real. I say the struggle is not real, it's imagined. What's real is the struggler. And so my challenge to you, especially for those of you, more for those of you for whom showing up for the live events is hard, this is more for you than for the people for whom it's not hard. Like, life has a lot of principles. One of the principles of life is what I call the easy hard principle, right? You know about the easy hard principle, right? The easy hard principle works like this. What's hard on the front end becomes easy on the back end. But easy on the front end becomes hard on the back end. Like, it's easier for me, like last night my wife and I, we ate at Chili's and I ate the salad, and when the lady came and brought the menu, I saw the molten chocolate cake. Eating the molten chocolate cake would have been easy. Saying no to the molten chocolate cake was hard, right? But I didn't get the molten chocolate cake. I could have gotten the molten chocolate cake. I could have said yes to the molten chocolate cake. I could have said easy, do this easy. But that molten chocolate cake that is probably 800 calories, I would have to spend 2 hours on a rowing machine. Like 2 hours on a rowing machine to burn that off. So if I do the easy thing on the front end, I'm gonna have to do the hard thing on the back end. But if I do the hard thing on the front end, no to the chocolate cake, I don't have to spend 2 hours on the rowing machine to burn it off. And I'm telling you, there are so many things in your life, like, yes, it's hard to go to Phoenix. I get it. It's hard for you. The money's not there. It's hard for you. Your family's not supporting you. I get it. It's hard for you. The children won't understand. It's hard for you because you have to put it on a credit card. I get all of that. But here's what I'm telling you right now. There's going to have to come a time in your life, whether it's Phoenix or some other time in your life, where you're going to have to stop caving to the hard stuff on the front end and say, okay, I'm going to do this hard thing on the front end, and then eventually life is going to get easy on the back end. Like, for me, I did all the hard stuff. Made the hard decisions. I went to Florida when I didn't have the money, right? And I slept in my van. I invited all the mosquitoes in Florida over for a midnight snack. I went to the event looking like I had the measles. I didn't take a shower. I washed my face in the bathroom at the hotel, in the public bathroom at the hotel. I did all of those things. All of that was hard. I went over 1,000 miles away from my family without even knowing how I was going to get back home. But see, here's what I learned by doing that. I did the hard stuff, and now my life is easier. Like, right now I'm talking to y'all on Facebook Live, and in about 10, 15 minutes or so, I'm going to head to the driving range and work on my golf game. And then later on this afternoon, I'm going to get with some of my homies at the golf course, and we're going to go play golf. Why am I able to go play golf in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week? Because I did the hard stuff on the front end, so my life is easier on the back end. But by the way, this back end that's easy right now is also the front end of a challenge later on, because, like, I've got my goal for this year, right? And so if I spend too much time on my easy back end now, which is my easy front end later, then my back end's my business is gonna suffer for it. So I can't play golf twice a day, even though I'd like to, right? Or 3 times a day, even though I'd like to. I've got to do some work. I've got to do some of the hard stuff on the front end. Like, when I get done with this, I'm gonna go put my golf shorts on, and I'm going to go downstairs, and before I even go to the golf course, what am I going to do? Before I go to the golf course, every time I get ready to go to the golf course, before I go to the golf course, what I do 1 set of strength training. I do some crunches. I do some back raises on my Roman chair. I'll use my Tour Swing 300, which is my golf fitness device that I invented. I will do all of these hard things on the front end, and then I'll go practice, which is also hard, so that when I play golf, it's easy. Now, the days that I say, I don't feel like doing the hard stuff, I don't have time to do the hard stuff. I don't have time to go to the driving range. I don't have time to practice my short game. I don't have time to practice my putting. Then what happens? Then I go to the golf course and I shoot a score that's bigger than the state of Texas. Say, Myron, what's your point? My point is, like, I'm challenging you to do the hard things now on the front end so that you and your family can enjoy the easy stuff that's coming on the back end. So that you and your family will be able to join me and my family as we travel around the world, do the hard stuff, make the hard decisions, do the hard things now so that later on you can deal with the easy. You got your birth date. That's already settled. Your death date's already been settled. I mean, you ain't there yet, but it's already been established. It is appointed unto men once to die after this judgment. So, like, our death date's already going to happen. What are you going to do with your dash? Are you going to make excuses, or are you going to make things happen? People who don't make excuses make things happen. People who make things happen make money. I'm challenging you, do the hard stuff on the front end. Experience the best life possible for you on the back end. You'll be glad you did. I wish I could put it in better language. I'm going to say this also. One of my mentors, Charlie Tremendous Jones, used to say, the difference between where you are right now and where you'd like to be is exactly the same as the difference. He used to say, you're the same today as you'll be 10 years from now, except for the books you read and the people you meet. And I want to take it a step further. The books you read, the people you meet, and the events that you attend, because that's where you're going to meet the best people. Like, show up. Show up for your own life. Take ownership of the result before you know the path. Make a decision that this is what your life is going to be about, and this is what you will do. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. Every last person who signed up for 2CCX at Funnel Hacking Live in February, every last one of you deserves to, see, you thought I was going to say should, didn't you? You deserve to be there. You deserve to get the knowledge that Julie's going to drop, and that Stephen's going to drop, and that I'm going to drop. And you deserve to learn what you don't know yet. But if you allow yourself to excuse yourself out of the hard part on the front end, then life will excuse you out of the easy part on the back end. So I'm going to see if anybody has any questions before I go to the golf course. And then I'm going to say, later on, my people. So I raise my camera here so I can see what it says. You don't need better language. This is working just fine. Thank you, Tina. Consuela, people who don't make excuses make things happen. Absolutely. Now my phone's being goofy. Okay, there it is. Hassan, I want cake now. Me too, Hassan, but I didn't do the cake. I said no to the cake and yes to the exercise. Okay. Myron, this is so true and such a great message. By the way, if you don't have the money, don't worry about not having the money. One of the things, let me tell you a lesson that I've learned. And nobody said that on here. I'm just like thinking about this. Like when you make up your mind that you are going to do something, the how is really none of your business. You don't have to figure out how. You just have to decide that you're going to do it. Like when you decide you are going to do something, how shows up on the way. Okay. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there as an aside. Where attention flows, intention follows. Yes, ma'am. That is absolutely correct, Consuela. Hashtag live. Morning. Good morning. Good morning, Amy from Dallas. Hey, Krista, good morning from California. And Edward, good morning. Good morning. Chan, hey, what's up, Chan? Good to see you, man. Hassan, good morning. Gus, good morning. Tina, good morning. Love this, the dash. Good stuff. Sounds great, dude. Hey, Nate. Patricia Bartel. Hey, Patricia, how are you? Ilanka can hear me well. Okay, cool. So that's all I had for you guys. No big earth-shattering news, but I'm telling you, the harder it is for you to be in Phoenix, the more necessary it is that you get there. The people who come through the most to get there, who overcome the greatest challenges to be in Phoenix, are the ones who are going to have the greatest breakthroughs. Tara said, have fun golfing. Thank you, Tara. Aaron Stewart says, can we golf in Phoenix? I'm bringing my sticks, Aaron. So if you bring yours, hey, bruh, I know some great golf courses there. That's all I'm going to say. So if it works out, I'd love to play golf with you in Phoenix. If it works out with our schedules, I'd love to. Edward said, I want a hole in one now. Me too. I actually got one in 2017. I thought I was going to get one yesterday, and I got a double bogey instead. That happens from time to time. I'll see you in Phoenix. Powerful. Thanks, Myron. We are doing whatever it takes. We will be in Phoenix. I love it. I'll see you in Phoenix. I worry about not having the money. I am going to stop. Congratulations, Christy. Because think about this. The money is there. And when I say the money is there, so the money for you to get to Phoenix is out there. And I'm going to tell you how you can get that money to come to you. All the money that all of us, any money that you desire that you don't have right now, it's in somebody else's pocket. If you bring them enough value, they will happily hand it over. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Make more offers. Like, I know it sounds like an oversimplification, but it's not. So Tina says, actually, this is big. Thank you, Tina. You're so awesome. Okay. Hey, what's up, Jim Edwards? Good to see you, man. I went to the range yesterday, Jim. It was epic. Okay. I can't wait to get together with you, man. Let me see. And I wasn't talking about the driving range either. I took the plunge for Phoenix, and the how showed up. Did show up. You see, Bev said she took the plunge for Phoenix, and the how showed up. Jim Edwards says #live. All right, my peeps. That's all I got for you. And I'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Deuces. Make more offers. That's right, Tina. Make more offers. Tell them, make more offers. All right, good stuff. I'll see you guys in Phoenix.